Hi everyone, well I'm reviewing this special beauty book here. All That We Had We Gave by an author called Peter Glynn. And yes, that's my name, because it's my book. And I thought, you know what, no one else is reviewing my book, and I'm a bit of a book reviewer, and I love books, so you know what, I'll review it. And I'll be fair, and I'll be open, and I'll be critical in a positive way. What have we got here? Well, we've got a book, a local book for local people, and it's to do with the First World War. As you can see there, you've got war graves on the front. And the name of the book, All That We Had We Gave, is taken from a poem, a First World War poem. From memory, it's all that we had we gave, all that was ours to give, freely surrendered all, that you in peace may live. And I thought that was a good name for the title of my book. So what is it about? Well, it's about my hometown, the people from my town who went off to war, the First World War. Most did come back, but a lot never returned. And I thought, you know what? I want to write about their experiences, maybe keep them in memory. Once you're named in a book, you'll never die. And they deserved it, I thought, because when I first came to Denbigh, and I came here when I was 16 years of age, and there was no information apart from the names on the memorial and what you could search in the record office. Well, it took some research, but it wasn't easy. And I thought there's a book in it. And I'd always wanted to write a book, and I thought there was a book in me, and here it is. Anyway, what else can I tell you? Well, it's halfway. Well, it's a paper. It is paperback, but it's a stiff covered book. It's not matte. It's gloss front. It is of 70 pages, so it's not thick. It's easily readable. It's got a nice index at the back where people can look at the A to Z of people's names, places, battles, family. We've also got casualty lists, local. It's a purely local and yet interesting effort, if you can call it that. We've got the Denbigh National School Roll of Honour, and we've got the story of Denbigh territorial soldiers who volunteered to go over to France in 1914, their story until the end of 1915, because they were frontline troops. But after 1915, they were more behind the lines digging and stuff like that. So, hand-to-hand combat, though it was occasioned on, in different battles on the Somme and elsewhere. 14, 15, there were some major battles that they were involved with. There's some pictures in there, some photographs. There's a couple. Nice little anecdotes in there. I've written it using their own words, from letters, from diaries, from books, in their own words, to try and knit together the story of basically their time from the start of the war, August 1914, until probably in June, July, when they got transferred into a different division, which was more to do with pioneering, digging trenches and stuff like that. Is it a good read? Well, let's start at the beginning, really. It was printed locally by G and Son in Denbigh, and that establishment no longer exists. It's one of the last books that they printed. The cost of it to buy it is £6, and it was printed in 19. It was published in 1999. And G and Son were found on Chapel Street in Denbigh, and the building's still there. I think it's a bit derelict now. It is actually dedicated. I made a dedication at the time to my great uncle who was killed in the First World War, and he's buried in Choc Military Cemetery in France. And I went to see his grave, and it was great to see his grave there. There's contents. There's chapters, and so there's a list of contents there, and also we have a list of the illustrations. Of course, it's nearly 1999, so it's like 18 years have passed since I've written the book, and I've transferred it subsequently onto Kindle, Amazon Kindle. So if you go into Kindle and you type in all that we had, we gave, it comes up, and it's been totally, not quite totally rewritten, but it's got a different feel about it now. There's been extra information come in since 1999. The internet has exploded. And as a consequence, I was able to add significantly to the knowledge base. So, I'm very grateful to Kindle, to Amazon, to the internet, for opening up new veins of information. So now when I look back at this book, it's got its place. It's important. It's important work locally. But also when I read some of the language that I use, it seems a bit dated, even though it's only 18 years old. But times have changed, and the way we express ourselves have changed. I'm not saying it's politically incorrect, but some of the sentences or phrases I would now word in a different way. It is a good story that knits itself. Now, I got a lot of my information from the local newspapers at the time, of which there were two, the North Wales Times and the Denbigh Free Press. And they reported openly and freely, probably up to the time of the Somme, which is 1916, after which the news, the meat on the bones wasn't there, but it was early doors. They were demanding stories, letters, information, as much information as possible to not entertain, but to give to their readers. And I've drawn from that, and it was from my own research really. And it was after doing the research that I thought, what, it writes itself, this book. I actually thought, what, there's a book here, and it's already written itself. All I've got to do is turn it into something readable, and fill in matters of interest locally, nationally, internationally, and let it all stitch together. And at the end of it, I was quite proud to have achieved that. And if you're thinking of writing a bit, if you think you've got a book in you, get it writ. I also had the honour to take this photograph of a Denbigh grave, Albert Edward Middleton, who was a goat major. He had there's a good picture of him with a goat. And I went to his grave. It's in Bettoun. It's in a town cemetery. And it was a very hot day. And we'd driven for 20 miles, come to this town. Traffic's going wum, 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 wum. Then we went round the corner and there's a dead end to the town. And that's where the graveyard was, the cemetery was. In France, they built the cemeteries on the edge of town, not in the middle. And we walked down a cinder path. It's like you know, yard after yard, 100 yards, 200 yards, 300 yards, and suddenly at the base of the cemetery, right at the back, was the military cemetery, and came upon his grave, which I was actually looking for. I knew where it was because I'd done research in the Commonwealth War Graves Office, and subsequently I took this photo, not knowing that I was going to use it for my book. It is a good read. It's easy to read. It knits together. It's emotional because we're using their words. But more than anything, it's a record. It's a record of people who willingly went over. They weren't conscripted, they weren't regulars, they were volunteers. And they went over and faced bad conditions. And, I'm not going to be melodramatic and say, they were all heroes now. That's, they were ordinary people serving in extraordinary times. And most of them had never left the county. Some had never left the town. Worth writing about, and it's worth presenting to you. And if you want a copy, you can go onto Amazon and buy it on Kindle, which is the updated version, and it only costs you a couple of quid. This is £6. This is for this version, which is almost out of print because I sold a lot on eBay and places like that. But Amazon now is a place where you can get it. It is a couple, 2-3 quid maybe, and it's a jolly good read. It's had some good feedback, 5 stars. Very happy with it, so I recommend it to you. And that concludes my review of my own book. So I hope you will, forgive my selfishness, if you will. So we call it a day for now. Thanks for watching. Get this book, enjoy it, love it, keep it. Good for the collection. Bye for now.